What's up, guys? I've gotten more than a few requests to do a review of the Manix 2 XL. Um, it's a fairly new knife, so it's a good knife to do a review on because I would assume not many people have this knife yet, since only a few have trickled out here and there. So I imagine that a lot of people are going to be Googling Manix 2 XL review because everybody wants to hear someone's thoughts before they buy it. So figured this would be a good video to do, so thank you for the requests. So I guess I'll just get into it. It's essentially what I would call what a Manix 2 should have been. If you disregard size for a minute, this is what I wanted the Manix 2 to be. I wanted it to be fully flat ground. The hollow ground is nice, but I like fully flat ground blades better. They're lighter, they cut better. Hollow ground blades are good for shallow cuts when you're not really pushing through something. That they're really thin behind the edge, so they can do those shallow cuts really well. But as soon as you push through something like a fruit, a vegetable, wood, anything, it binds up, doesn't cut very well. Full flat ground blades do. And that's something I wish the Manix 2 would have been. I guess I'll just give you kind of a close-up shot while I'm talking. In addition to it being fully flat ground, the steel has also changed, and it's S30V now. Which I don't know if many of you know, but the Manix 2 from now on will be S30V. It's still going to be hollow ground, but it's no longer 154 cm. It's S30V, and that's at no price jump. So that's pretty good. Kudos to Spyderco for doing that. But this is what I wanted the Manix 2 to be. A nice, big, beefy S30V blade, fully flat ground, so it cuts really well. And those are the main things to me that jump out. The size is something I'm going to get to later, but to me, I'm going to carry this over a regular Manix 2 just for the blade. First thing you notice is it's big. I'm going to back out here. I guess I'll do opened. Show you the knife compared. Paramilitary 2, it dwarfs it. Absolutely dwarfs it. Gail Bradley, it dwarfs that as well. Makes the Gail Bradley look small. Large Sabenza, again, there's no comparison. The large Sabenza is actually a pretty large knife, and it packs a lot of cutting edge for the handle size, and the cutting edge is actually longer on the Manix 2 XL, so you get a lot of cutting edge right here. And that nice belly, it cuts really, really well. I'm going to do a cut test with this knife. I've killed S30V with the cut test, but I would still like to see how this knife performs comfort-wise and cutting performance. So it's a big knife. That's open. I'll show it to you closed here. As you can see, still big when it's closed. It's not too big in your pocket. You will notice you're carrying it. If you're used to carrying a Paramilitary 2 or a Sabenza or a Gail Bradley, you will notice that you have a bigger knife in your pocket, of course. But it's not unbearable. I've carried a ZT 301, so this is not really that much different in your pocket. It is wide. You see the Sabenza, how narrow it is. This thing is wide, very wide. So if you're reaching into your pocket to grab something other than your knife, you're going to run into some problems there. Go ahead and take these out of the way. I guess I'll show you the weight. This is something new to the J. Davis compound. We have a scale now. So I have it on ounces. This thing weighs in right at 6 ounces. I mean, 6 ounces is pretty hefty. For me, I know Nut and Fancy has that 4-ounce rule or whatever it is. Honestly, are you going to feel the difference in between a 4-ounce knife and a 4.5 or 5-ounce knife? No. Especially not in your pocket. It's hard for the human hand to perceive that difference. In your pocket, you're not going to feel it. A 6-ounce knife is not going to feel that much different than a 4-ounce knife if your pants fit well. It's just not going to be that much of a difference. So 6 ounces, yeah, it seems kind of heavy, but in practice, it's not really heavy. It's the size that bothers you, if it does bother you. It's not the weight. I guess I'll get to the knife itself. Screw together construction with a big oversized lanyard tube. The same ball bearing lock that the Manix 2 has on it. Same pivot design, pivot bushing, so you cannot over tighten the pivot. The knife is smooth, extremely smooth. It's probably one of the smoothest Spyderco knives with the pivot bushing that I have. It's much smoother than the Paramilitary 2. Now they both swing freely, but if you're talking about little bumps and catches that your thumb perceives when you're opening, this is much smoother than the Paramilitary 2. I haven't felt the Yojimbo 2, but it's rock solid. There is no grittiness whatsoever. And the bushing on my samples are all perfect. There's no blade play at all. And I'm a stickler for blade play. But blade play, if there is any play there, I'm going to detect it, and these have none. And that's pretty substantial considering this thing has a 4-inch blade. You can get a lot of leverage when you're out here at the tip. And I still can't get any play. So that's pretty good, honestly. The jimping is effective. It's the same kind of typical Spyderco sharp jimping. Really, really effective in my opinion. It's kind of angled this way so that it has a lot of traction when you're going up. If you're trying to extend your thumb up, it has a lot of traction. Down, not so much, but when you're cutting, you're going to be putting force into the knife like this, and it really grips you. It locks in. It's got jimping in all the spots that the regular Manix 2 has. Down here, right here, extending into the 50-50 finger choil. Something interesting that this knife has is this little horn down here. And for all you tactical knife guys that will want a knife fight, whatever, if that's your deal, this is kind of like a cold steel in that you can get a whole different, you can grip it like this traditionally, you can choke up and get up on the blade, or you could take some of your hand off the knife and hook your ring finger in that little hump, and you have a nice extension. You could really reach out and get something if you needed to. Again, I don't knife fight. I carry a Glock 26 for that. It's not my thing to want to knife fight. The G10 is really, really grippy. It's typical Spyderco. Not overly aggressive like Emerson or anything like that, or Cold Steel. It's just really grippy, really aesthetic, nice looking. It provides a lot of traction without being overly grippy like sandpaper G10 like on Cold Steel. Pocket clip is also typical Spyderco. One thing that I do need to mention is that it rides about that far out of your pocket. In practice for me it's actually about right there. I guess I could show you since you're right here with me. Stick it in the right pocket. What I normally, don't ask me why I have jeans right here. I didn't even plan this, but they're sitting right here, so whatever. Show you how far it rides down in there. So yeah, not so bad, but I mean it does stick out. If somebody really looks, they're going to know instantly what it is. You can even see some of the blade. Does not bug me at all. I'm not a stickler for how much it sticks out. Low ride pocket clips are cool and all, but I actually kind of like being able to grab onto my knife and retrieve it. So doesn't bug me in the least, but it may to some of you guys that are sticklers for low riding pocket clips. The ball bearing lock is super smooth, just like all the other BBL knives I've used. One thing that I do need to mention is that I have what I consider medium hands. I don't have small hands by any means. But I don't get to open this knife in the way that I do normal Manix 2s. I normally hook the butt end of my knife right here in my palm and then grab a hold of the ball bearing lock and drop it like that. I can't do that, as you can see with this knife. I just can't reach. It's my thumb that's the problem. I have to grip this knife a little differently. I have to pinch it in between my fingers and the meat of my thumb right there, and then manipulate the lock. It's not a biggie. I got used to it within minutes, honestly. Just a couple minutes owning the knife and I was already able to manipulate it pretty well. But I do wish that I could do it like I used to, because that's just the most intuitive thing for me to do. It's no biggie, but again, it's something that some of you guys might not like. The blade, it's a huge blade. It cuts really, really well. In my limited experience, I did cut up some cardboard boxes with it. It's not thin at the edge. It's what I would call a thin, robust grind. It's not really thin and delicate, but it's not really thick and pry bar-esque either. It's kind of a middle ground. It's strong, but it's also thin enough to be a good cutter. And for you guys that sharpen, I have a 30-degree bevel on here, and just by the people who sharpen a lot can tell. Given a geometry, you can say, well, this knife has a 30-degree bevel on it, and the bevel is about that thick. Put it up against a knife that is a lot thinner, that also has a 30-degree bevel, it'll have a smaller, the bevel will not be so high. So for you guys that sharpen, that's a 30-degree micro bevel, so that gives you an idea of about how thick the knife is at the cutting edge. It's not super thick, otherwise the bevel would be really high, but it does have some beefiness to it there. The belly starts almost instantly. There is no flat spot coming out of here and then a belly up sweep. It's just all belly all the way, and that's how I like my knives. They cut the best when you're doing that, draw cuts, slices, whatever. I like a huge amount of belly. Unlike the Chris Reeve, where you have a flat portion and then a sharp belly up sweep. That's good too, but I prefer this shape right here. The Spyder hole is the oversized, I think it's 14 millimeter. Typical Spyderco oversized opening hole. Works good, ambidextrous, middle finger flick works perfectly. It's overall just a great knife. It's honestly, I was thinking about getting an Emerson, I don't even know what the model is. It had a thumb hole and a wave, and it was kind of recurvish. I don't know what model it was. Anyway, I wanted an Emerson just for a beater knife, something that I would not worry about cutting with. It was just black G10, 154 cm, but it was like 200 bucks. And then this came out. This is black G10, just a regular plain Jane knife, a big beefy blade, S30V flat ground at a little bit over $100, and it was a no-brainer. I chose this, and I'm happy I did. This will probably end up being one of my most carried knives because it fixes everything I didn't like about the Manix 2. And I love the Manix 2. And it's just a big, beefy, nice, utilitarian blade. One thing I didn't hit on is the spine thickness. I don't exactly know the stats, but it's not a very thick spine. Up against a paramilitary 2. The Para 2 is actually thicker, so it's probably a 2.5 millimeter spine. So it's going to be a good cutter. A really good cutter, and in my experience it is, and I really enjoy it. So this will more than likely end up being one of my most carried and most used knives, and that's a pretty strong endorsement for me because I tend to switch it up a lot. But I've had this in my pocket since I got it, and I have no intentions of knocking it out. So overall, a great knife. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 9.5. I mean, there's honestly there's nothing wrong with a knife functionally. It's just little things for me, like manipulating the lock, that don't make it a 10. So honestly, a really, really, really good knife. And at $109, I think, you cannot beat it. I mean, $100 for this knife. It's solid as a rock, and it's just a nice cutting, big, beefy blade. What's not to like at dollars over 100? I mean, come on. It's a no-brainer. So anyway, there it is, the Manix 2, Spyderco Manix 2 XL. And it is XL, man. It's huge. It is huge. Um, there you go. If any of you guys want to see the cut test, I may do it, I may not, I don't know. But if you guys want to see it, then I'll do it. But let me know what you think about the knife. If I didn't hit on something, then let me know. I'm sorry if I didn't. But anyway, thanks to all the new subscribers. Thanks to you guys that watch and comment and like and stuff. I appreciate you guys. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.